Hello guys, don't skip because this video is actually for you. This video is the second part of how to cut a princess dye bustier. So this is actually the teaching part. So in this particular video, you will carefully learn how to pad a princess dye bustier. You guys know what I mean by how to pad a princess dye bustier with a wording, and you also learn how to do the sewing process carefully. So please guys, make sure you watch to the end and make sure you click on the like button, subscribe. Okay guys, so the first thing we are going to be doing is we are going to be padding it. Do you guys understand? And as you can see, the white material you're seeing there is the pad, and it's also called the wording. Even if you don't know what I mean by pad, it's also called the wording. So we are going to be padding the center front and the two sides. As you can see, that is what I'm actually holding here. So this particular one you are seeing is for the center front, as you can see. Now look at it. This one is for the center front. Are you seeing it? Why this other one is for the side? Now look at it. The other padding there is for the side. So I'm going to explain to us how to cut this particular wording, especially this center part. Now for us to cut it, as you can see, the height of this particular one is 8 inches. And you can't just use 8 inches. We usually consider the underbust length while cutting it. So for underbust length from 12 to 14 inches, it's usually 8 inches. Do you understand? For underbust length of 15 to 16, we use 9 inches. So for underbust length of 17 to 18, 19, we use 10 inches. Do you understand? And whenever you are placing it on the center part, we usually start from the underbust. I will show you guys that later. Do you understand? Okay. So guys, the next thing, like I said, it's 8 inches. So talking about the weight, we are done talking about the length, what to cut for the length. Are you saying it? 8 inches. So let's talk about the weight. For you to cut this for the weight, you have to consider the weight of the center front. Now look at it. I'm going to be placing it. Do you understand? Let me place it now. You have to consider the weight. Are you seeing it from this side to this side? Make sure the center front enters. Do you understand? Okay, I'm still going to show us how to measure it out so that you definitely understand what I mean. Are you saying it? From this point to this point, that is what you measure. Now look at it. Make sure your wording is up to 14 inches. As you can see, this particular one is 14 inches. But my man looking at my own is not exactly up to 14 because of what? We don't have enough wording. Okay, so talking about for the side, normal, the length of it is 8 inches. Whatever the length of the center one is, that should be the length of this particular one. And the width is 4 inches. Please, this 4 inches is fixed. That is what we use to cut this. Do you understand? Okay. So looking at the wording itself, you see the shiny part. Please, this shiny part is the part that has the gum. Do you understand? So that is the part that is going to be resting on the fabric. Okay. So this is how we place it whenever you want to gum it. Look at it. Take both of them. This is how you place it. Place it in this way. Okay, from the underbust. Please, it must surely come from the underbust. Now make sure the edge here is corresponding to this edge here. Then the underbust is corresponding to that edge. Are you seeing it? Now look at it. Let me say it again. Make sure that the underbust, are you seeing it? That is corresponding there. Then the edge is corresponding and the upper part there is corresponding. When you place it like this, all I want you to do now is from this underbust now, connect to the middle part of the wording. Are you seeing it? Okay. When you are done, take your scissors and cut it off, please. It is very important. Take your scissors and they cut it off. We are doing this in order to give fitting and shape to the wording so that it will not just be straight. Some persons usually cut their own straight. Do you understand? So when you are done, separate it. Now, take this particular one. Please make sure you are gumming it. You are placing it based on the shiny part. The shiny part should be placing the wrong part of the fabric. Okay. Place it like this. Use your pin and hold it firm. Do you understand? So that's what we are doing now. Use your pin and they hold it firm. So when you are done holding it firm, do the same thing on the other one. Also place it. Make sure that all the edges are corresponding. Now use your pin and they hold them firm. Next thing you need to do is to turn it over, then cut off the excess. So you can see we are cutting off the excess right now. So when you are done cutting off the excess, the next thing you need to do is to take it to the ironing table. Please iron from the upper part. Do you understand? Because sometimes when you are ironing from the back part, your iron doesn't usually give it the enough heat for it to gum. Sometimes this thing is hard to iron. So I usually advise iron from the upper part after you have finished cutting off the excess. Do you understand? But when you are ironing, please, I would like you to take a piece of material and place on top of it. So now let's go over to the second part. That is the center part. Okay. Now remember what I used to say. Don't start from the down part. Start from the underbust. Underbust. Yeah. Place it like this. Okay, as you can see, our own wording did not correspond to the real edge of this thing, but that's okay. Place it, use your pin and hold it very, very firm. Now cut off the excess. Are you saying it? Turn it and cut off the excess. That is what I'm actually doing now. Cut it off, guys. when you are done cutting it off, are you seeing this particular neck side? Also cut it off because it's entered that side also. Cut it off. Then when you are done cutting off this neck part, sometimes some persons don't like when they are sewing, they'll be sewing body padding. That is the wording. So what you also do is to reduce with 1/2 inch. I'm going to show you guys now how to do that particular one. Okay, make sure you cut it off. Carefully cut it off so that you will not cut your material in the process. Okay, so open it up like what I said. Okay, now reduce with 1/2 inch. Are you saying it? Carefully, just cut it off. Reduce with 1/2 inch. Please, if you've not liked this video, I want you to like this video. Click on the like button, because when you click on the like buttons, you can be able to in fact, it will make it possible for you to see more of our nice videos, great contents, exclusive contents. So click on the like button. So as you guys can see, we have reduced it. So thereby, when you are sewing, you will no longer encounter the wording. So place your iron on top of it and iron. That is just what you have to do there. Do you understand? But before you do that, obviously you have to hold with a pin so that it will not, shift when you're ironing. So guys, it's time for us to sew. So for you to sew, this is how you place it first of all, and you start sewing from the underbust. As you can see, place it like this. Okay. That is how you sew. Start sewing from the underbust down to the upper part. Then come back to the upper part, sew down to the down part. So, but because I'm a professional, I'm going to start from the down part, not directly to the top. Please make sure the notches on the underbust, make sure they match each other. It is very important. Else, you are going to get it wrong. Are you seeing it? Make sure the notch match. Yes, that is what I'm actually doing now. The notches are matching everywhere. It's equal. So now, guys, start sewing. Start sewing, guys. So like I said, please make sure you click on the like button. It encourages us also. I take all my time to do this, so I also want you guys to appreciate by just clicking on the like button. Then if you're new to this channel, please make sure you subscribe. It is very important. Then if you have a question, guys, make sure you ask your question via the comment section below. As you guys can see, we are doing the stitching right now. Okay, so carefully, just take your time. Carefully, because in this particular part, you don't rush it. Do you understand? So take your time. Are you seeing it? I even went to the extent of using my marker to mark out what I will sew, so as to make sure that I get it exactly. Okay, so guys, another thing, as you are sewing, make sure the two edges of the fabric are rhyming. So that's why I say you shouldn't rush it. Do you understand? Make sure both of them are rhyming, because if they are not rhyming, you might end up getting it, getting a wrong stitch. Okay, your work might go bad at the end of the day. So take your time. Like I said, just take your time. Take your time and make sure you don't skip this video, because if you skip it, you will lose so many vital parts of this. That's why so many of us will watch a video and I see some persons asking me a question, and the same question you're asking is still inside the video, and I'm wondering, didn't this person watch this video, or they just see a video and start asking questions? So guys, please make sure you don't skip. Watch it to the end, so as for you not to ask questions that is already in the video. So you guys can see I've been sewing it. So when you sew, you not see at this point it's not be easy for you to finish it up. So finish it up. Are you saying it? So we are good to go. Wow, such a nice work. Are you saying it? You will now be seeing the cup and the bustier is coming out. So please guys, whatever you do on this side, I want you to make sure you do the same thing on the other side. Are you saying it? Make sure you do exactly the same thing on the other side. Okay. And also I want you to know that, remember, this thing has a lining. Please, whatever you do in front, do the same thing on the lining. Are you seeing it? Even the padding, when you are padding the wording, please pad the wording on the lining also, and do the same thing on the lining. Whatever you do on the material must be done exactly on the lining. Do you understand? Whatever you do on the material, make sure you do exactly the same thing on the line. Everything, make sure that it is exactly looking like the material. That is, the lining must look like the material. Put the bustier and everything. Okay guys, so as you can see, we are done with the stitching, everything. So we also need to do the same thing on the lining. And if you look at the armhole side of this particular dress, you notice that it is short. You understand? So, but don't worry, you are still going to retrim it. Okay, so look at it. Just do the same thing on the back. Just sew the back. It's as simple as that. Okay guys, just sew the back. Okay. So when you are done sewing the back, make sure you do exactly the same thing on the lining. Do you understand? Use the lining to turn the material. Please use the lining to turn the material. You guys know how to turn. Okay, what I mean is that in a situation, your line is supposed to be exactly as your original material. Okay, place it front to front and use it and turn on the material. Start sewing from the neck. Then after you are done sewing from the neck, you sew the sides. Do you understand? Then turn iron it out. Okay, then after that, it is now time for us to couple. So all you have to do is to fold your material into 2 now from the center part. Are you seeing it? Okay, we are going to put back our measurements, guys. We are going to be putting back, and we're going to be doing that starting from the underbust. Now take your tape. The round bust, that is the circumference of the underbust. Circumference on the underbust is 30. Divided by 4 is what? 7.5. Now make sure you take your marker or your chalk and mark out the 7.5. Are you guys seeing it? Okay, when you mark it out, just take it all the way straight, because that's how it's supposed to be. Do you understand? Take it all the way straight. Now we are going to be duplicating it on the other side so that it will be easy for us to sew. In order to do that, you need to work with your office pin. Okay, guys, so take out the office pin, use it and pin it on the line. The essence of doing this is to make sure that you see it from the other side so that you can be able to use your marker and mark it out. Okay, you guys are going to say it. This is what I do whenever I'm coupling a cloth, and it's very easy for me. It makes the work. As you can see the pin there. So trace it out. As simple as that. So when you are done, remove the pin, guys. When you are done, remove the pin. Are you saying it? Okay, so that means you can now take the sides and sew on this front. Now look at it. Place it, this one on the side. Are you seeing it? You will now sew on that line. You do the same thing on the other side also. Okay, and as you guys can see, I'm not using machine to do any stitching here. So I'm using this pin in form of stitching. Remember, this is like an illustration on how to sew. It's a complete illustration. Okay, guys, so you guys have to wait it out till I finish sewing with my almighty pin. Okay, so do the same thing on the other side, guys. Okay, do exactly the same thing on the other side. Okay, now I'm doing the same thing. I'm sewing it out. So when you finish, open it up and the iron. Please, it's mandatory for you to iron. Please, I want you to know this is an illustration. As you are looking at this now, it is assumed that we are coupling both the lining together. Okay, are you seeing it? Iron it out, iron it out. Now, final coupling, final measurement. Are you seeing it? Fold it out into 2. Now, you are no longer going to divide by 4. Rather, you are going to be dividing by 2 because you are folding it this way. Everything is now divided into 2. So now take your underbust divided into 2, which is going to be giving us 15 inches. So you can see it's actually corresponding to an existing line we marked here already. So thank God for that. So do the same thing on the bust line. The bust, which is 34 inches, divided by 2 is going to give us 17. Then you are going to mark extra 1 inch allowance. That is for the bust ease. You have to always add a little bit of allowance to the bust. Are you seeing it? 17? Then make sure you add extra 1 inch allowance, making it 18. So as the bust will not be too tight on the customer, even though it's a bust here, it has to be fitted. Okay, then next thing you need to do is to connect the both points, because that is where you are supposed to sew. Now take your machine and sew. Do you understand? So, but in this case, you guys know how I do my own sewing at this point. Okay, so guys, if you not like this video, make sure you click on the like button. It's very important. If you are new to this channel, make sure you like this video and make sure you subscribe. Please, I beg you. As you can see, we are actually doing the stitching right now. Okay, so looking at this, you can see that we are almost done. So the next thing remaining now is when we finish this, we are going to end up turning it. And you know, turning it is not easy because it's actually a paper I'm using for illustration for the sewing. So after we are done doing that, we also need to sew the shoulder part. Do you understand? You need to sew the shoulder part out. Okay, but let's sew out the shoulder first. Okay, this is going to be a very fast one because assuming I'm illustrating with a real material and the line, I will show you a special way on how to sew the shoulder. But either way, I have many videos illustrating that with materials. Okay, so sew out your shoulder. As you can see, that's what we're actually doing now. So when you're doing sewing out the shoulder, you have to turn it. So like I told you, turning with a paper is not easy. So this actually took my time. That's why I had to fast forward it. So thank God that everything came out so fine. So look at it, guys. The next thing we have to do, remember I told us that the armhole did not come out well, so we have to retrim. Most of us normally make mistake. When you finish making your dress, you just leave the armhole like that and fix the sleeve. At the end of the day, it's not going to come out well. You need to check whether your armhole is corresponding. If your armhole is 17, check whether it's giving you. If it is not, please retrim it. So in order to retrim it, as you guys can see, this is 7 inches. That is our armhole length. That is what I've marked. Remember, The same thing as your shoulder is the same thing as your armhole length. Okay, so draw a straight line as if you are drafting a new armhole all the way. Okay, now put the curve and take your scissors and cut it off. This is a brand new armhole. Do you guys understand? So this trimming now, we also have to correct some of the errors that you made while coupling. Are you seeing it? Everything is now brand new. Wow. Okay, when you finish there, do the same thing on the other side. Okay, do the same thing on the other side, guys. Now look at it. Shoulder is 14 divided by 2, which is 7, which is exactly the same thing as the armhole length. You guys already know how we do it. So use your marker and mark it out. Are you seeing it? Mark out a straight line, go into the armhole, go into the shoulder. Now put your curve and take your scissors and cut it off. And here comes the armhole. And the next thing that we're going to be doing now, you guys know what we usually do in front of our armhole. We call it the armhole effect, which helps to reduce all the puffings and unnecessary rumple around the armhole region. So that's what we are going to do. And it's a very simple one. I usually notice when you finish making your dress, you want to fix your sleeve. Most of us don't effect that armhole effect. Like we call it armhole effect. We don't usually put it. It's very important. So look at how we are going to put it, guys. It's very simple. Look at it. Okay. Now measure out 1/2 inch or 3/4 depending on the person's shape, figure. Okay, well in this case, we're going to be using 1/2 inch. Are you seeing it? Mark out the 1/2 inch. Connect it down to this particular point. Are you seeing it? Connect it like this, exactly like this. Do the same thing both on the other side. Then take your scissors and they cut it off. Are you seeing it? Okay, do exactly the same thing here. Yeah, it's very simple. Yes, after you are done, take your scissors and they cut it off. Then at the end of the day, guys, the dress is ready. Remember what I told you guys? I wasn't teaching you how to make a blouse, neither was I teaching you how to make a gown. I was only teaching you how to make a princess that bustier that you can use for any kind of dress, whether blouse, gown. In this case now, this particular one, all you need is now a sleeve, and if you're making a peplum top, all you need to do is to put a peplum at the half length. If you're making a gown, all you need to do is to put the down part, which is the skate part. So as you guys can see, we are done drafting this particular thing. Are you seeing it? Princess that bustier. So thank you very much for having patience. So if you are here to the end of this particular video, I want you to say, I'm here. I was here. No matter in English you put in there, I obviously love it, my dear. Just let me know that you are still around at this very point. So thanks and may God bless you. I love you so much. Bye-bye.